Hello listeners and welcome to a new podcast of Better Together. I'm Carla and today we have with us
Sebi, hello.
And Daria, hello.
And both of them are local volunteers, so they are like from Romania. And we gathered here today to talk about an important topic, which is abortion. Why do you think that we choose this topic, guys?
I mean, it's an abortion. It's an topic that has been like really blown up on social media in the past, let's say, months.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say years.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a very important topic as well to talk about because people are still separated into different opinions. They have two different opinions that are very ambiguous and they are very straightforward on them. So I think so it's better to discuss it a bit more.
Yeah, it's also always a good thing to talk about. And we are mainly talking about this because what happened in the United States lately, that some of the counties, I think, regions, states, started to forbid abortion or just put the time that you are allowed to abort like super low, meaning like few weeks and stuff, which is like probably not enough. And it was like a huge thing there, obviously. And there was a lot of protest against that and things like that. Also, they are persecuting people who are aborting. Like I read not long ago that they are using Facebook. They are just checking Facebook conversations and stuff to prove that someone got an abortion and stuff. So I think it's pretty fucked up because like this is a really difficult process for the person who has to deal with it. And the fact that they are just not even, your privacy is not even protected, it's like really fucked up. So, yeah. Do you know some countries where this is illegal? Like more Europe talking?
Well, we know about Andorra, Malta, and San Marino that it's totally illegal. Mm-hmm. And I think so it's very, very extreme, like to totally not have that.
Because like that means that, for example, if you are a victim of a rape and you get pregnant, you cannot abort. That means that you have to carry the child of the, like, that it's like created by a raping, which is like totally horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Do you have more information?
There are also some, let's say, spaces in the Europe, like that are totally banned, but let's say just a town in maybe a country. Mostly we find it in Italy. Mm-hmm. There are like 5 to 6 towns that are like totally banned. Mm-hmm. We also have from Europe that France and Germany only do it in the first trimester of the pregnancy, which is like 12 weeks. And maybe for some of the mothers, let's say, or people that find out, it's like too late.
Yep.
Because maybe there are not any symptoms in the first 12 weeks, and
and usually there is the time where people found out they are pregnant, so it's actually too late for some of them to take some precautions.
And also maybe let's say you found out in the 10th week, you still have to wait on a list, so maybe in that list it's 2 weeks long, which is gonna be too late for it, and they're gonna be like, oh, it happened.
Yeah. So like for you to know, like there's also different kinds of mostly all countries of Europe are allow abortion, not Malta, as we say, Andorra and San Marino, but the rest mostly they have abortion on request. That means that the professionals are not required to attest or to certify the existence of a particular reason or justification like for the abortion. The ultimate decision belongs to the pregnant woman, which is amazing, you know. But there's also some countries that, for example, Liechtenstein, that only allows abortion if the woman's life or the health of the woman is at risk, or if the pregnancy is a result of a sexual assault. And after we have Monaco and Poland, that it's the same reasons, but also they allowed abortion if the fetus has like several anomalies or things like that. Few years ago, like not long ago, it was like really huge thing when the law changed in Poland, because like obviously like for me it's not respecting women's rights at all, and that should be like a human right for me. Like it's just people taking decisions about others' bodies, which is not not good, at least for me.
I wouldn't think like only like women rights. I wouldn't think like human rights at all, because let's say you're the dad of the baby, and then you have like to grow that child, and it's also a thing that you wouldn't really, I don't know, like.
Yeah. Also, we have to take into consideration trans people. There's men who are like able to get birth, like to get pregnant and stuff. So it's like for me it's human rights. Yeah. And do you think forbidding abortion it's some kind of abuse?
Yes.
Why?
Because again, you forbid a right that a person should normally have, and for me it's an abuse because you are put in a certain position that you don't want to be, and you don't have anything to say about it.
Yep. Yeah, like for me it's also like totally like kind of abuse, because like it's people choosing what is going to happen with your body without even asking you. And some things that piss me off the most is that the people making the laws, for example in United States, are mostly men. That it's like, dude, you are not going to get pregnant, you are never going to have an abortion and to pass through that, like it's like your couple or like a woman, like, and you are choosing what we should do or what we should carry with our bodies. So it's not fair at all.
I mean, there is still 2 states in America, and if I remember correctly, it's one in the center and one in Antarctica, which allow pregnancy without like a reason at all, just on request. If they want to, they can do it at any time, and they're like the other states are starting to ban them one by one.
We have a percentage in North America that it's 75% of the population it's pro-life and 25 it's anti.
So that means that 75 of the population are like
banning
abortion.
Banning abortion.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can partly understand what they are saying, because okay, you are creating a life and you are like removing that life from like the mother and stuff. But come on, like if that person wanted to get an abortion, means that one, there's like plenty of reasons for that person to don't want to carry that baby. Maybe they don't have the income to take care of that baby. Maybe they are underage. Maybe there's like not really good moment in their life to get an abortion. Like it's not a choice that we are making. Like, no, today I'm just wake up like feeling that I'm going to get an abortion. No, like people think about that, Like, okay, maybe it's a mistake to get pregnant, but if you cannot take care of that kid, you have to have a solution, not only just having that kid, because like the life of that kid is going to be fucked up also later.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, if you think about it, like let's say you can't take like care of that kid, then it like belongs, you're gonna at the time you're gonna stay on the streets. So the rate of homeless people is gonna grow, which is like, I don't know what to say. Maybe it's a thing like just in my brain, but it affects the country anyway. And it's also like the thing you said about underage. It's like you cannot like adopt someone when you're 13, 17, 16. And they're like, oh, sorry, you're not old enough. But let's say you get pregnant at 13, 16, 17. And they're like, okay, congrats on being a mother.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. And the thing is, from my opinion, like, okay, you're gonna have a practically unwanted child, so you're not gonna love them as much as you're gonna love a child that you really put the energy and truly wanted to have it. So again, that's gonna come with other consequences for the kid, other consequences for the parents, and stuff goes on and on. So
it's also the stigma, like, okay, you are forced to get that child, you give birth, and after, for example, of course, like, you can just give it in adoption and stuff, but it's the stigma that you are going to have, like, oh, you gave an adoption a kid, you know? Yeah, but I didn't want it since the beginning, so it's really horrible, because also this only happened to women, obviously, because men cannot get pregnant, men cannot get kids, and they are not going to have this stigma just following them, you know? Like, and for men, for example, I'm sorry, like, just to generalize and stuff, because it's not all men, obviously, but like, there's sometimes that when, okay, your couple tells you that you are pregnant and stuff, they cannot get an abortion and they disappear from the map, you know?
Yeah.
It's just the woman just carrying the kid and all the stuff and just going through the process, and for them it's like, I don't want it, I'm just leaving and that's all, you know? So it's totally not fair.
Yep.
And do you think about possible measures in order to avoid this? Like, in order to avoid to having to have an abortion, you know? Like, because there's a full process between just being active in your sexual life until just getting an abortion, you know?
I mean, we can talk about like the things before it. It's like mostly, let's say, I don't know how it sounds, but have sex with the person that you trust, and also like do it at older times. Then it's contraception methods like pills, condoms and other things. Then maybe, let's say the condom breaks, it's the second day pill. And then also last resort that I found out, it's like you have a lot of other pills that you can take in the first semester that can like take out the...
But this is contemplated also as an abortion.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but...
It's not the same. For example, the pill for the 2 days after, what is making you is to have like your period, it's coming before that it's your turn. So what is making you do, it's like a lot of hormones that are making your body to work faster in order to have like your period. But if it's like this kind of pills that is like abortive, they are kind of doing the same, but it's like so much more harder. And in case that you are already pregnant, it's like so much more painful, and it also counts as an abortion. Like with 2 days doesn't count as an abortion, because you doesn't really know if you are pregnant or not. It's just in case, you know?
Yeah.
So it's totally different thing. And I would add like to this, like to possible measures to avoid this, like sexual education.
Yes.
Sexual education is something really, really, really important, that it has to go like not only for girls, like you don't have to get pregnant and stuff, also for males, like you can make one woman to get pregnant. So like for both of them, like both of them needs to know like which contraceptives exist, how to use them, and also not only like about getting pregnant or not, about the sexual transmission diseases and all the things like that. So having sexual education since you are like young, it's really, 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 really important. And that brings me to another topic that it's related to abortion, that it's the teenager pregnancies. For you to know, Romania is the second or the third country with more teenager pregnancies in Europe. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Which ones do you think are the most common ones?
Maybe exactly not having the sexual education.
Yeah.
Let's say there are also for money and things like that, for the monthly allowance that they get.
Yeah, like they are making the child just for that.
Okay.
But they don't think about what care you need to take for the child. And like rape, we have rape, a lot of rape. We have it can be a mistake, even if it sounds harsh. That can happen.
But for you to know, abortion is legal in Romania.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's different, for example, that it's legal, but for example, you can go to the hospital to ask for an abortion and stuff, and you can find a lot of people and doctors telling you not because of their beliefs.
Yeah.
And here in Romania, I think it's going to happen like mostly because like it's a really religious and conservative country, so you can find a lot of people saying to you no. But there are centers where you can do this.
Yeah, but that it's also an abuse from the from the hospital that you go or the center that you go, so you can clearly report it. And I would recommend you to report it, because it's like, okay,
you have all the papers to lose.
Yeah, they are not doing their job. So yeah.
I mean, but it's totally legal for them to just be objectors of conscience because they are just finishing one life and they don't want to have this in their minds. So it's like totally like fair for them like to don't do it. But in the other case, since it's legal in Romania to have abortion, they have to provide you with someone that can do it.
Yeah.
And that allows like that it's okay with doing it, you know.
And another thing, in the past, at some point in Romania wasn't allowed, like it was illegal, and people were doing it under the covers.
Yeah.
So it was like at-home abortions, and a lot of people died from that. And I don't think so. If this happens right now, like stopping people getting abortions, I think so that's gonna increase like undercover abortions, and more people are gonna die because of that.
Totally. Yeah. Because they are going to have an abortion even though they can not have it legally. And like usually the methods used in those cases are not like safe and are not like with sterilized material or with like a professional and stuff, so everything can go really wrong.
Exactly.
So more reasons about teenage pregnancy in Romania. It's like I read a study made by UNESCO. It's data from 2021, so last year.
Oh, nice.
And mostly like the main reasons for teenage pregnancy here in this country is early school leaving. So maybe like because teenage pregnancy goes from 15 to 18 years old, but there's also cases that it's like from under 15 years old.
Yeah.
So it's usually early school leaving, like people that are uneducated, doesn't have the tools and the knowledge to know that there's like contraceptives or like how to manage or how to deal with these situations. So they are more likely like the ones who are going to get pregnant, but there's also some cases of girls that got pregnant and they finished the school and stuff. Another one is cyclicality. I don't know how to pronounce this word. It's like a loop, you know? If you are coming from a family where your grandma had a kid when she was teenager and your mom had a kid when you were teenager, like when she was teenager, you are most likely going to repeat the same pattern. Doesn't mean that everybody who lived in this kind of family is going to do it. But yeah. There's also like lack of love from your family or like feeling that your family is not paying you attention and stuff. There's also like other cases that here in Romania it's like pretty common that it's Roma people. Not all the statistics are only about Roma people, but they have different traditions, they have different culture, and they are getting married really young, even though if it's not allowed by law, but they have their own culture. And they are getting married around 12, 13 years old, so that means that they are going to start having kids like super young.
Yeah. Actually, about the Roma people, they are starting to get more educated. The age that they are getting married, it increased as 15. It's not a lot, but it's still much better.
I mean, it's closer to the like age you can like marry legally, because it's 16 in Romania with the consent from parents. Yeah.
So like still they are getting even of all the stigma that they have, they are getting more educated and understand more what's the things that are gonna happen after.
That's really nice. Also, this study was saying that the lack of a coherent policy and standards of practice in the field of reproductive health for professionals in adolescent work. That means that the adolescents are not the priority on reproductive health. That means that the services that you are supposed to have, like everywhere, like family doctors, nurses, school doctors and things like that, they are not really prepared to give you that information because they have other priorities. So they are kind of skipping this part.
Yes, that's actually happened a lot because as everyone wants to know more and more, you don't have the possibility to go ask. Even if we have internet, that's not a reliable source.
Yeah.
So
also, I know that for law you have like health education at class, but it's an optional class. So a lot of people are not taking it, or like it's not really prepared by the teachers and the persons who has to implement it. And you are supposed to have sex education there. And you did this class?
No, I didn't have it.
And you?
I kind of did it, and not, let's say, I didn't take like the optional of health class, but I had my biology teacher in the 8th grade. We had the subject about the reproduction session, and the teacher just asked all of us in the class. She was an old lady. She asked us, okay, are you okay with talking about this? But don't start like telling your parents or the others that we talked about this, because maybe they're gonna fire me or things like that.
Yeah.
But we can talk about this if you're ready. All of the class said yes, and we had like 2 or 3 classes that we talked about this, and she kind of informed of us like for everything.
That's super nice.
Which was something different for me, because like as a teenager that didn't like really get it. It was mostly from my dad, which was like, oh, okay, use contraception and blah 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 blah, which was like a small talk. Then having the big talk with the teacher and explaining all of them, it was difference.
Yet for you to know, like your parents have to sign a special paper in order for you to attend this class and this specific topic, you know. So that's super nice from the teacher that give you the information and stuff, like really. For example, I remember me in school like having like some sexual education, but not really. The only thing that I remember is that they put as a video about youngsters and stuff, talking about the pimples and the changes in their bodies and stuff. And I remember just seeing like at the end a lot of pads and how to use a pad. That's all. Like I don't remember anything else. Like not talking about contraception and stuff. But maybe it's because like at home I had like the luck that my mom was like really open about these things, and she always answered to our questions, and we had the talk with her like, look, this is what it is, and that's all, you know. So maybe I was not really paying attention, but for real, like I don't remember anything else. Like because I had friends and stuff that they were like, yeah, we had sex education today at class, and they teach us how to put a condom in a banana or something like that, and everybody was making fun of this, but at least they had it, you know. Yeah,
we had that too, but another time, our class like really made fun about it, and at the end of the class we had like some small papers to give them our family doctor came, like she was the lady that talked about that, and like the people were writing like jokes and things like that, and how big doesn't it and things like that. And me as I was like 14, 13, something like that. I was really shy about it, and I didn't write anything on the paper. I just gave it like that. And then she asked who did this paper, and I said that me, and she was like, oh, but what did you put in question? Because I didn't know what to tell you. Even though maybe I had questions, I don't know if I had them, like I don't remember those times, but if the now me was there, I would write some questions which would help the whole class, not just me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's totally understandable that at this age you are taking this topic like with ha 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 ha, you know, like, oh my god, it's talking about sex and stuff like openly, like in front of teenagers, oh my goodness. But that's like really important for you to know, even though if it's funny and stuff, because of course it is, but at least you are receiving the information in one way or another, and you are going to just have it in your brain. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, it really helps, even though it's like haha funny.
And like for me, like the same, I had only that thing with the pad, like they're teaching, like, you know about this, what you know, if you know, okay, good, if not, I'm gonna explain it to you. And the thing was, they separated us from the boys, so we were only 3 girls in the class that a teacher explained to us, and the other boys were like playing outside football, and it was like really, and it was like, okay, why would you do that? They need to know as well. It's a part of the human body.
That's horrible.
Yeah, they did that. They did that for us too.
That's completely horrible, because sex education is not like only for girls, you know, like not only for girls to learn how to don't get pregnant. It's also for guys to learn that this can happen and what they can act, like what they can do about that. And also about knowing the body of each other, like, okay, like, come on, you are going to have friends or female friends or a couple that it's a female and stuff. You need to know what is going to happen with her body every month and stuff, you know?
Like for real, till I had my first serious relationship, I didn't know like at all how the period works. And like the biggest thing that hit me the most was till like my first relationship, I thought that the whole girls had their period at the same time. I thought that they had it at the same time. Wow. They last the same and all of things. And then after that I followed that there are like medical problems, that they last more, they have more blood, they have less blood, and it really depends on the body and how it's on that time. There can be like this month it's okay, there is nothing, like not a lot of pain but a lot of blood, and the other month cannot be like a lot of blood but pain, like and like all the things that can help. Again, I didn't find them till I had my first relationship, and she told me, okay, this would help, this would help, this would help, can you go buy me this?
Yeah, exactly.
And for all the boys that you have a relationship, don't be scared or like shy to go and buy them what they need. It's like normal.
Totally
but
normal, yeah.
ask for what they need. Don't go there and just be like, okay, this works. Because they are different things and they work different.
Like for me, because I didn't have any class of sexual education or anything, I find reliance in my mother as well. But of course, the stigma that this subject come with, it's a bit weird to talk. So most of my knowledge come from other friends, from internet, from other stuff, and it's not the best knowledge that I have. And I would have liked to have a class about that as well.
Yeah, that's really important. There's also like family centers where you are supposed to go there to ask for information, and they are supposed to give it to you. But in this study they say that the youngsters are not really going there because it's not really reliable, because they don't feel that it's really confidential, and that they are judging them, which is like really bad, because you are going there to ask for help, not to be judged, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how to tell you that it's like really happening, because like most of the times they really say to the parents, like, let's say I got to the center, it was like with my family doctor, it was normal things, and yeah, after some days, like my dad made it as a joke, like, oh bro, you didn't tell me about this, and I was like, what, from where do you know it? And he was like yeah, she told me.
That's horrible.
Exactly.
Like, horrible.
That happened to me as well. I went to my family doctor, and I had like, I was, I believe so, 13, 14, and I had a really not embarrassing question, like from now it doesn't think it's an embarrassing question, but from then it was really embarrassing, and I told my doctor without my mother and everything, and after like half an hour the doctor called my mother and like, you know that your daughter asked me that, and I was like, what? No, I asked you that.
That's because violating the principle that they sign at the beginning. Like, it's confidential.
Exactly.
Like, what the no,
exactly.
You cannot do that. Stop it. So yeah, and the other thing that it's also reason for teenage pregnancy is what you said before, like the monthly allowance that they are receiving. So maybe it's not the main reason for them, but since they are having a kid, they are receiving some money, and that obviously is not preventing teenage pregnancies, because like since from you have some money coming monthly, and maybe it's the only income that you have, it's not going to avoid you to have more pregnancies, you know, like it's just a loop. And also it's like the low adolescent involvement in positive changes. That means that the policies and current social practices refer almost to underage mother, but all adolescents should be involved. So like they are making some policies and some things like just tracking adolescent mothers, which is not fair, because like all adolescents should have like sexual education and know what can happen and stuff, and all genders should receive that, because like hello, like there's two parts making a baby. So
I mean, the thing that fucked me up the most, it's let's say you're a teenager, but you don't have like a great connection with your parents or something like that. Maybe your parents that are off to work or in another country and something, you get pregnant. Your parents need to sign, both of them, the papers for your abortion. Which it's like, okay, if I had like the consent or the right mind to have this baby and things like that, or to somehow get pregnant, then maybe I can like sign the papers for not having it because I decided, because the parents weren't there.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds harsh. Okay, the parents weren't there when I did that baby. So
Yeah.
And also, let's say the parents are religious and they're like, okay, I'm not gonna. I don't want this in my household.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're at the same time they don't want to like have the abortion, but at the same time they're gonna watch you with bad eyes because you had a baby at that early time. It's like it has most of the things that get you up in the brain. And also most of the teenage pregnancy, maybe let's say they're like coming from parents too, because they're like, okay, when do we see the baby?
Exactly.
When do we see the baby? Like even my parents are. I'm hoping that they ask it as a joke, and I know that they ask it as a joke, but they still ask me, oh, when I'm gonna see a baby? Like.
Well, I have this thing in my family as well. Like I have an older brother that like we from now, like we don't want, me and my brother don't want any children right now, and my family is like seeing all their friends having children. They're so cute, they want to take care of their nephews, and I'm like, okay, but wait, I don't want now that responsibility, like and they are still bugging us every time that when are you gonna do that? Well, we want to have one or two, and I'm like, it's not your choice. Wait.
For my parents, I just told them, okay, if you're gonna really have it, if you really want it, I'm gonna have it, I'm gonna throw it at your door. Come on, take care of it, or do it by your own.
Exactly.
You can have it. You can have your baby. It's okay by me, because if you really want a baby, have it. And they're like, oh no, we grew you already. And I'm like, okay, but why do you ask me to grow another?
Yeah. So this topic is really huge. So what we can say, like, in order to just close it?
It's a big topic. Let's say we have firstly to talk it to the authorities. Maybe let's hope we don't have, like in Romania, that it will be illegal.
Okay, so let's say that the authorities need to work on that and make the specific laws and the specific things to implement in order for the youngster to have the knowledge about things that they can do to avoid to have an abortion, and in order to have also teenage pregnancies. Okay.
That was what I was wanting to say. The introduction of sexual education in schools. Let's say not how they really thought about it for 8th graders, but let's say for 9 to 10 graders, they are like the perfect thingy. Even though people think like, from 8 to 9 grade, it's not a big difference. I tell you, it is. Because like the me from 8th grade and the me from the half of 9th grade are like two different persons. And
exactly.
I totally notice it in my brain. And I mean, the mostly you change after the hormones hit, you start having your first relationship, and maybe you start having your first sexual intercourse. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for the word. And like being the first time over there and like, what do we do?
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds annoying in your brain, and you do it, one thing you do it like wrong, and
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You're gonna be up with a mistake that you
it's, how to put it, like it's a mistake that it's wrong to say it's not your fault, but you're not enough educated.
Yeah.
So
totally agree. So let's wrap up with have sex protected, use contraceptives. Ask your family doctor. I know that after what we said here, it's not really trustable and stuff, but you can find other sources of information. And use contraceptives, like the good ones, like, because there's this thing of just I don't know how to say it in English, but it's like in Spain we call it like marcha atrás, which is like backwards gear, that it's when someone is going to finish inside just going out.
Okay, yeah.
This doesn't really work because
pull-out method.
This one.
Yeah, that's it.
That doesn't really work neither. So use contraceptives, look for reliable source of information, and also always use consent in your sexual relations. Only enthusiastic yes means yes, the rest means no for you to know.
And try to learn as much, even if it's the internet and it's not really the best reliable source, but still it's much better than knowing nothing, and try to get as many information from different sites. Because if you only read from one, it might not be the correct one.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
and for the consenting, watch the video with the cup of tea. Yeah,
You can find it in YouTube.
Yeah, you can find it. It's it's like a funny way to say like the consenting. We totally need that in school.
Yes, you will find it in the description of the video, so no worries.
Yay.
Thank you guys for coming here today, and see you soon.
See you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.